So today I'm going to share my thoughts on stockpiling ammunition for an emergency situation. Now, when it comes to stockpiling ammunition, there are several thoughts, several common threads you will read about or hear about online. The most prominent of which is to make sure all the weapons that you use, or your most common weapons, use the most common ammunition, therefore it can be shared between them. That makes a lot of sense for a couple reasons. One, you only need to have the one, you only have to stockpile the one, and you'll have plenty of it, and it works in everything you've got. Also, in a situation where you're scavenging for ammunition, as long as it's a common caliber, common size, then you're more likely to find it when searching other locations. Now, whether that's ever going to come to fruition, hopefully it never will, but it makes sense from that perspective. That being said, one of the things I found during the was that if you actually went to a gun store or online stores or anywhere, you could not find common ammunition. All the 223, all the 9mm, it was all gone. What I did find is a lot of uncommon ammunition everywhere. I could walk into just about any store I wanted and find boxes of 4570 government. Not a very common ammunition, but still something that you can easily find something to shoot with. So from that perspective of actually being able to purchase during an emergency or a scarcity situation, having uncommon firearm ammunition actually works out better, because you can still get your hands on that because no one else is buying it. So that led me to a couple different thoughts. Number one, yes, it's really good to have several firearms that use the most common ammunition. 357 for a lever action and a revolver type of situation, or 44 Magnum. 9mm for both a pistol and a pistol caliber carbine. 223, 556 for any kind of AR platform, or 308 for any kind of hunting rifle is very common. It should be easy to find. If you're someone that has a AK platform, then the 7.62x39 is probably ideal for you to have a bunch of. But in a lot of these situations, only that most common ammo is what you're going to find scavenging, but you're not going to be able to buy it once things actually start going sideways. It's also a good idea, from my perspective, to have a handful of firearms that use an uncommon ammo. So, like, I have a lever action rifle that uses 4570 government. That's perfect. No one's going to be buying that. I'm going to be able to buy as much as I want. Granted, it's expensive. It's also a hard-hitting cartridge. Shotgun ammunition seem to still be very common. Now, again, you're not talking high-capacity weaponry here, but it's still good for hunting and defense, depending on what you're having to do with it. Even reloading was difficult because all the primers, you couldn't get them. And at some point they became so expensive that it was cheaper to buy new ammunition than it was to buy the primers. So my overall view of this whole thing is get common ammunition, common weaponry, but also keep some uncommon weaponry, uncommon ammo. That way, in these circumstances, you still have something you can get your hands on if you've depleted your supply of the common ammunition and you're not having any success scavenging for it. Now, obviously, you don't want half of your stuff to be odd calibers and things like that. You don't want things that most stores wouldn't carry in the first place, but you do want something that maybe each store has like one small section of. That way you can get your hands on it. Ammunition also has additional uses that some people don't think about. If things really go sideways, it's gonna break down to a bartering system. Having ammunition that you can barter, that you can trade away for other things, is a good idea, especially if it's not necessarily a super odd caliber, because you're not going to necessarily find anyone that can use it. But in some circumstances, you might have someone that really needs a certain odd caliber, Not saying that all of these are necessarily really odd calibers, but maybe they have something that shoots 22 Magnum or 223 Wild or 6.5 Arc. You never know. Obviously, the most common are going to be most useful for trading away, but they're also going to be the ones you want to keep your hands on. But it is something important to think about, that even if you don't have a gun that shoots that type of ammunition, having your hands on it is not necessarily a bad thing, because it does have currency when it comes to trading it for other things. What are your thoughts on it? Share down below. Send me some comments so I understand where you're coming from, because that's kind of my thought. I feel like you can't just be in one camp or the other. You really need to prepare for both, because you never know what situation you're actually going to find yourself in. Either way, if it's a long-term scenario, ammunition's eventually going to run out. So even there, you need some kind of a backup plan. Maybe a crossbow, bow and arrow, who knows? But let me know your plans down below and your thoughts. I'd love to hear what you think about this. But that's it for me. Talk to you guys later. So today I want to talk about different thoughts. What are you doing, Gracie?